For generations, the Tohono O'odham and their Hohokam ancestors collected mineral resources from their lands for both spiritual and practical uses. Juan José Gradillo carried on in that tradition with spectacular results. In 1879, Gradillo discovered a silver lode about 30 miles southwest of modern Casa Grande. The lode was later named Vekol, the Tohono O'odham word for grandmother. Gradillo partnered with federal Indian agent John D. Walker and Peter R. Brady. In 1880, they staked out the silver cropping and jointly filed a claim, one of the few times in Arizona history that Native and Anglo-Americans filed together. Later that year, Gradillo sold his interest in the mine to his two partners and retired to his homestead near Florence, Arizona. Within a year, the Vekol mine became one of the largest silver producers in the Arizona Territory. It remained that way throughout the 1880s. Because of 19th century prejudice against the Tohono O'odham, Juan José Gradillo never received proper credit for the Vekol discovery, but his pioneering spirit lives on in the contributions that the Tohono O'odham continue to make to Arizona's mining industry.
When 20-year-old Enos A. Wall left Indiana to make his fortune, little did he know that his name would be forever linked to Utah copper. Like many young men, Wall headed west, mining, freighting, and selling goods in Colorado, Montana, and Utah. At Silver Reef, Utah, he discovered and operated the Kenner Mine. He also met and married Mary Mayer. After financial setbacks in 1882, Wall moved to Idaho. He operated a mine and ran successfully for the state legislature. 3 years later, the Walls were back in Utah. Enos owned and operated mines at Ophir and Mercer. He also owned, developed, and sold the Yampa mine at Bingham Canyon. While at Bingham Canyon, Wall saw widespread indications of copper in a number of abandoned claims. Convinced there was a large copper deposit waiting to be developed, he relocated 10 claims in his name. Even though skeptics ridiculed Wall for his deposit of Wall Rock, he continued his assessment work. Without the capital he needed to properly develop his claims, Wall optioned them to Captain Joseph de la Mare, who operated mines in Nevada, Utah, and Idaho. Two of de la Mare's engineers, Daniel Jackling and Robert Gemmel, examined the property and issued a favorable report. When de la Mare decided not to exercise his option, Jackling made a deal with Wall to arrange financing. After 4 years, financial backing was in place and the Utah Copper Company was in business. Wall retained a 20% interest in the company. Although largely forgotten today, Enos A. Wall was the man who discovered the Utah copper deposit and realized its worth.
A search for gold led Civil War and Indian Wars veteran Charles J. Center to discover another mineral, molybdenum. Living high in the Rocky Mountains with his Native American wife, Center earned a meager living panning for gold. He also looked for the source of the gold he panned from the creeks. One day, Center explored a mountain covered with veinlets of a mineral that looked like graphite. He sent samples to assayers and to the Colorado School of Mines. The result? The mineral was molybdenite, the sulfide of molybdenum, which had no use or value at the time. Because the deposit was huge, Center gambled that it would be worth something someday. He staked and recorded several claims and waited. The wait lasted over 20 years. But with the discovery in Germany of the hardening properties of molybdenum in steel, the development of flotation for concentrating molybdenite, and the demand by the World War I armaments industry for molybdenum, Charles J. Center's claims suddenly became valuable.
Sarah Herring Sorin blazed a legal trail in Arizona as a woman specializing in mining law. Sarah Herring began her career as a teacher in the city of her birth, New York. In 1882, she joined her family in Tombstone, Arizona. She worked as a school teacher, school librarian, and principal for 10 years. She joined her father's law firm in 1892 and earned a license to practice in the First Judicial District Court in Tombstone. Herring furthered her legal education at New York University School of Law. She earned a Bachelor of Laws degree and ranked 4th in a class of 86. In 1896, the Herring family moved to Tucson. During the move, Sarah met Thomas Sorin. They married in 1898. The Sorins eventually moved to Globe, Arizona, where Sarah specialized in mining law. She represented a variety of clients, including Old Dominion Copper Company and the United Globe Mines. In 1913, Sarah Herring Sorin became the first female attorney to appear before the Supreme Court, unaccompanied by a male colleague. She argued and won a case involving a disputed mine ownership. Sorin holds a distinguished place in the Arizona Women's Hall of Fame and is the namesake of the Arizona Women's Lawyers Association's Sarah Herring Sorin Award.